Let's navigate to our search tab, and we can start selecting the vehicle that we're looking for. So we're going to be looking up a Land Rover, Range Rover, SUV. We currently have an autobiography in the shop, and it is a 2024. Now we can either leave region unselected, or in this case, we know it's going to be a UK region because of the manufacturer. We can select UK and show our vehicles. So from here, you'll see all of the available templates. If we need to, we can filter based on interior templates. So we'll see things like our navigation screens, as well as some of the interior door panels. We can also filter just for our exterior patterns, and also whether or not we need wrapped or the unwrapped kits. In this case, we would want a little bit of extra protection, so we'll use the wrap kit. We can now see and navigate on our template selection area here by right-clicking and dragging to move the template. And to be able to zoom in, we can use the scroll wheel just to be able to see some of the smaller patterns that we may or may not want to select. In this case, we're just going to select a few from the bumper and headlights. And let's go ahead and just add the selected ones. However, if we wanted to add the entire template without having to select it, we can just use this option here. But let's add just our selected parts. And we can see a preview of what we have selected on the right-hand side. We can also hide this if we need more room to be able to zoom in or out of our template. So now we can add this into our cut board. An additional feature of the search tool is to have a history of your searched vehicles that you can quick reference at any time and reload by selecting the tabs seen here. So we can go back to any previously searched for vehicle, especially if you're working on multiple vehicles at once. You can also select and add multiple vehicles into a cutting board at any one time. So once we've added the template, it'll appear all in the origin point on our cut board. From here, you'll notice we have a new menu bar. The clear option deletes all patterns off of the current cut board. Cut option sends your cut board to your plotter. The nesting option activates the auto nesting feature. Save board will save your current board for future use so you can reload at any time. Overlap detection feature, when activated, will highlight any patterns in red that have an overlapped area so that you can adjust them before sending to cut. You also have undo and redo options for editing. You have your rotation options and zoom in and zoom out on your cut board. Here you have your full wrap option to expand any selected pattern. Partial wrap allows you to select 2 points on a template and expand just one segment. Split allows you to cut a pattern at any 2 specific points. Nodes is your full customization option for any selected pattern. The outward option will create a double cut line around your selected pattern. And finally, you have your sub-pattern removal tool. So this is good for turning off things like sensors in a pattern. To get started, we have everything set at our origin point. We can start with our auto nesting feature to be able to help get an initial layout started. So the auto nesting feature is a great way to get started when you have a lot of patterns to lay out on your cut board. And then from there, you can adjust as needed. To get started, let's go through some of the basic navigation features. To be able to zoom in and zoom out, you can use either the zoom in and zoom out tools in your top menu or your scroll wheel. To be able to move a selected pattern, you simply left click and you can drag that pattern anywhere on the cut board. While a pattern is selected, you can hold down the control key and use your scroll function to be able to rotate as well. You can also, of course, use the rotation tool in the top menu bar. When moving, if you suspect that there may be an overlap, or you simply need to do a final check before running a cut, you can turn on overlap. And you'll see any overlap patterns highlighted in red, which will give you the ability to move them and readjust. So for our installation, we don't need the sensors and other sub patterns in our bumper template here. So with it selected, we can then use our sub-pattern removal tool to turn them off. And now we have a new, fresh template. We also have the option of splitting patterns. So with a pattern selected, like our bumper here, we can use our split tool, and you'll see as we move our cursor around, we can select the point that we want to be able to start the split and use the hotkey S. And then find our second point and hit S again. And now we have a split pattern. To further edit our template, we can also have it selected and use the full wrap option, which will expand in all directions around the pattern by our specified distance that we can select from this drop-down menu here. If you don't need to fully expand the entire pattern and only specific edges of a pattern, with it selected, you can use the partial wrap tool. And from here, you will hover over to the exact point that you need and use the hotkey W to start the selection, and then choose your second point and hit W again. And it will expand your pattern based on the specified distance. We can also do further customization by selecting a piece, like our headlight here, and using the nodes option, which will show you each individual point and vertice available on that current pattern. But we're not limited to just those. We can also add our own points onto this template by hovering and using the P key, and adding any nodes that we feel we need to further edit. From here, you can select any of the darker nodes, which are your points, and the lighter colored nodes, which are your handles, to be able to control the curves. To make our lives easier when weeding, we can also have a pattern selected and use our outward option to create a double cut line at a specified distance. And this will save us a lot of time. Instead of having to weed all of the unused material, we can just weed around the parts we need. So using the search history, we can search for and add multiple vehicles at once into our cupboard. When working on multiple vehicles at once, you'll see that you have a color-coded key on your top left of your cupboard that will let you know what each pattern is related to. After you've completed all of these custom edits, and this is probably a vehicle you might be doing often in your shop, you can save any board that you need for future use by using the Save Board option from the top menu here. And you can title it whatever you need, and then you just click OK. Once you've titled the board and saved it, you can then find any saved boards under your menu option here. And you'll see we have our board, and we can add this back into our active cutting board at any time. You can also delete any save board that you no longer need using the delete key to the right. Please note that once a cutting board is deleted, it cannot be recovered. So you can add any board that you need, and you can add multiple boards to your active cutting board area at any time. So let's add a few back. And we can go and see in our cupboard, we now have our various templates that we had saved. And using these tabs at the bottom of the screen, we can swap between any of our active and save cutting board that we've loaded into the active cutting board. In addition to saving custom boards, you can also save projects. So these can be defined however you need. If it's going to be for your weekly setup, if it's going to be based on multiple installers in your shop, you can load up specific projects and save boards into each individual project to help manage your workflow and workload in your shop. So with multiple boards saved up and active at any one time, or when you're just first opening the program, you can go ahead and create a new project. And you can title it however you need. So you can save projects based on your weekly workflow, or you can save them based on the people in your shop, however suits your business. And from here, we can now see that if we load this project, so you can save your current projects and load them back at any time, or delete them when they're all completed, which you can mark their status here in this column and select Done. And from there, you'll know that it's okay to delete. But please note, once a project is deleted, it cannot be recovered. And that way, multiple users, or if you've got multiple projects going on, you can switch to them on the fly. And this will change up the search vehicle history, the cut boards, saved boards, and your cutting history based on the project. Inside of cutting history, you'll see any and all cuts sent to your plotter, and these can be reviewed or reloaded as needed. So now you should be fully prepared to get started using your Matmak Precut software. If you do run into any further issues, whether it's plotter setup, pattern assistance, or anything else, we're happy to assist. Please feel free to reach out to us with any inquiries to one of our main offices listed on our contact page. We offer worldwide support through our main offices located in Dubai, the United States, Europe, and Australia.